Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in on a red flag of healing. How to know when you're really getting it. You are really putting the pieces together. Things are really starting to gel. Things are really coming together for you. What are the red flags of healing? Of really kind of getting beyond catering to the narcissist, being attracted to psychopaths, being at the helm or the end of the battle stick of a borderline individual, perhaps, one of these types of individuals who has presented with a personality disorder, yet you keep finding that you're either stuck trying to fix these types of people, stuck really kind of being attracted to these people or finding these people attractive, and that you're really kind of not noticing why this is. In other words, you seem to repeat this. Here I go again. Why am I, I got stuck again. I made the same mistake. Why did I do this again? Why didn't I see this? Why am I repeating these same types of toxic relationships? And I just don't seem to be getting anywhere in my life. And I'm getting really depressed about this or sad, or I feel like life is not worth living. I can't find the good life, the easy life, the life of joy, the relationships that I want. And oftentimes it's important to realize that, especially if earlier in your life, if you had narcissistic relationships in your family circle, in your family network, in your family design, the original template of your relationships, then that could oftentimes be the start, the origin, and the cause of the why where you are at right now. And that is, of course, obvious, but then sometimes there's parts of it that are not so obvious because a lot of that stays hidden. A lot of that stuff stays really hidden. You can't get it all out. In other words, if you have not let go of that as of yet, in other words, if you had traumatic relationships earlier in your family history, your parents, your siblings, perhaps it was your cousins, where you were either emotionally manipulated, physically abused, psychologically abused, spiritually abused, sexually abused. You were made to work. You weren't allowed to have a childhood. You were basically put to work too early. You were sort of not allowed to play and be imaginative, that there was shame brought on you for who you were as a child, shame for having feelings, shames for crying, shames for getting beaten up, criticized for how you looked as a child, where there was nothing you could do over it. Color of your skin, color or texture of your hair, size of how tall you were or how short you were. You were ridiculed for perhaps a birthmark or a grade that you could not get in your studies. You were bullied in the playground, perhaps for your size or your shape, or when you moved to a new town, and that you began to have the seedlings, the embryos put forth of feeling less than, or feeling like, wow, I have to overwork in order to belong. And, you have this experience really heavy, really early on. So now you're finding a lot of your life journey is dedicated to the work to getting this sorted out. But how do you really let it go? Does it ever really heal in this lifetime? I get that question a lot. And so I want to say absolutely positively, yes, it's not that it never happened, but you can let go of it 100%. In other words, you can understand it for what it is. And I want to say, put it behind you where it can never get at you again. You can never touch it again. You can never fondle it again. You can never, it can never haunt you. In other words, have a negative impact where you hear, see, taste, touch, and feel it, and it's affecting your present moment, your present feel state, be state. Because really through it all, it's the person that you are becoming that you are probably struggling with. So a red sign, a red flag, a red sign, a red flag, a red scarf, a red flag of how you are that you are on the healing path is that you are no longer attracted to and are repelling these types of people. When you begin to open up your mind and begin to say, you begin to become attracted to a new type or a new ilk of person. Where previously, hitherto, you had thought, oh, those people, they're goody-goody, or they're not like me. I could never fit in with that crowd because they're too good, they're too smart, they're too rich, they're too humble, they're too unfashionable, they're too fashionable, they're not fashionable enough, they're not rich enough, they're too middle class. I mean, whatever excuses you have made about who the people basically who you have pushed away. Even when you were, perhaps you had an opportunity, the quantum field had brought you the opportunity to get together or go out to lunch or meet or interact with these people, and you had inadvertently pushed these people away. It is now a true red flag of healing as you find yourself considering the inkling of being attracted to or wanting to associate with new types of people and not having to approach them in the same wounded, desperate, or dysfunctional way. And each of those manners is distinct in each of you, as many as there are watching. So perhaps you had entered into relationships with a sense of being so like a martyr, where if I can overdo and overgive and overtake care of you, then maybe you'll be a friend with me. Or perhaps I'll use flaunt my body or my curves in order to get attention, and that's how I've drawn these people to me. Or perhaps I've just had to use my money or my lack of money or my sadness to, or I've had to focus too much on other people. And I thought that was the way to get people, or make friends or get people in my life. And you find yourself that those other people who hitherto you thought, wow, I will never ever be able to relate to those types of people. They're too good for me. They're above me. They're too calm for me. They have it too together. I don't really like money. Those people have too much money. I just want to live in poverty. They'll never listen to me. I'll never listen to them. So oftentimes those are excuses or oftentimes unconscious blocks, which hitherto the work that you're doing now is perhaps on the channel that you are now finding that are dissolved. And you're saying, wow, those types of people who I was previously attracted to, they're not so attractive. That music, that lifestyle, that way of life, all those negative thoughts, all that judgment, I'm shedding that off now like an old coat. It's no longer really attractive to me. I don't look so good there anymore. In fact, I don't even want to live in that community anymore. In fact, I want to change my lifestyle. In fact, I am changing my lifestyle. I am changing my perspective. I'm changing my outlook, and I'm definitely changing how I spend my time, what I get involved with. And then now I find that other people are starting to give me eye contact. Other people are giving me a smile. Other people are saying hi. They're developing short and trustworthy conversations with me. And I can give them a little flicker of trust and a little acknowledgement little by little. And it might just start with little baby steps. In other words, where you might just go and you might find yourself just saying hi, a little wave, a little glimpse, a little moment of discussion, and you're developing sort of what I call your emotional sea legs, which are based on self-trust and erecting the right and smart boundaries for yourself now. And you're able to dabble in the realm of healthy relationships, functional relationships, where they're not based on with people who are hyper criticizing you, and you're not having to take care of them and enabling them to continue this abuse. You're now recognizing it and you're saying, nope, not that person. You're able to say no to the wrong and you're able to say yes to the good, and you feel good about it. You don't miss the old. You're not feeling like you're missing anything with that person. Whatever the look was before, the charisma, the promotion, the type of, in fact, I've had people who have completely changed their type of profession because they found in that profession it was just laden with that types of people, and no matter where they go, that was what was promoted, that was expected. In other words, to survive in that profession, you had to be that way. People who had to drink, who had to dress a certain way, stay up in certain hours, go on trips, etc. You know what I'm talking about. and they've said, no more for me. I don't want to live that lifestyle. And there's people who get sucked in and stay in it for decades until they turn the tailwinds. They, and they're able to say, back in the day, that's what what happened. I can see it now. Thank God I'm where I am now. That was in the 80s. That was in the 90s. They can say that now, and they can say that they're healed now from that. It's no longer attractive. And number one red flag is that you're hanging around new people. New people begin to look attractive to you, and you're finding them interesting. You're not having to do the defense mechanisms that you had to engage in before. In other words, you're able to have a sense of security without copping out, going through a junction in the relationship where you have to default to, wimping out, allowing people to abuse you, taking that abuse. You're no longer seduced by that. You never allow your emotions to be tinged or tainted or feel bad when someone tries to go on a tirade, or tries to manipulate you. You're able to see it very clearly for what it is, and you don't fall for it. In fact, your head just stays up, and you don't flicker, you don't flinch, you don't fall for it, because you know the roots of manipulation, and you know that you no longer are prey to that sort of predatory instinct that from others, that are exhibited or elicited from others to try to get you to feel down in order to have control, manipulate, and really tend to squash your security, your I am, and keep you in a wounded state. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe, and much love to all the empowered harmonizers. Love you. Have a wonderful day.